The show's main character is a strange young woman named Wednesday Addams. Little lady, who is only 13 years old, hardly ever displays any emotion and has an odd fascination with passing away. She is also well known for dressing strangely in black and white gothic attire, which everyone finds odd. Wednesday enters her high school in the opening scene with a sinister expression on her face. She shoves her brother Pugsley out of her locker after discovering him bound and holding an apple in his mouth. Wednesday suddenly sees in a vision who tormented her brother. She is not a typical child, as we learn from this. By simply touching someone, Wednesday has the capacity to glimpse both their past and their future. She enters the swimming room carrying 2 bags filled with piranhas after she realizes that a group of bullies from the swim squad are responsible for this. Wednesday makes it plain that nobody picks on her brother except her when she calmly releases the vicious piranhas into the swimming pool as the bullies swim for their lives in terror. The parents of Wednesday are introduced in the following scene as Morticia and Gomez. Both of them are tired. They have chosen to enroll their daughter Shenanigans in the elite Nevermore Academy. In this academy, it turns out that every student possesses magical talents, and they are all given lessons on how to handle them. The fact that Morticia and Gomez are fellow graduates of the same academy suggests that they also possess superhuman abilities. Meanwhile, a hiker embarks on a solo journey through the woods near the Nevermore Academy. Fortunately, he is killed after only a short while by an unidentified creature. The local sheriff finds the disfigured body later and begins surveying the area. Surprisingly, we learn that this grisly murder isn't the first of its kind. Similar situations have occurred a lot lately. Wednesday then arrives at the academy where she is greeted by Nevermore's expertly operated principal Larissa Weems. She introduces her to her werewolf roommate Enid, who is the complete antithesis of Wednesday in every aspect. On her side of the room, Enid is a grounded girl with brightly colored decor, whereas Wednesday is a lover of all things dark and gothic. Later, Enid gives Wednesday a grand tour of the academy while pointing out the main school group's fangs, furs, stoners, and scales. Fangs are vampires, furs are werewolves, stoners are gorgons with snakes on their heads, and scales are sirens who have the ability to manipulate people in. Additionally, it depicts Bianca Barkley, the most popular student in the school and a stunning siren, as well as her ex-boyfriend Xavier Thorpe, a death artist who can make his drawings come to life. The Addams family is driving away as this is happening. To look after their kid, Gomez releases Thing, a chopped-off live hand thing. Wednesday enrolls in a fencing class the next day and is up against the talented Bianca. The girls decide to take off their masks and fight till one of them bleeds first after some back and forth results in an equal number of points for each. Soon enough, a vicious fight breaks out between them as they match strides for strides. But when Bianca makes a tiny gash on Wednesday's face, she ultimately succeeds in her mission. Wednesday is nearly killed by a falling stone gargoyle as she leaves the infirmary after receiving treatment. Fortunately, the death artist Xavier moves her out of the road when she arrives just in time. Wednesday goes back to her room shortly after, but she feels like someone is keeping an eye on her. As a result, she investigates the room until she locates the hand thing. She realizes it is her parents' handiwork. Wednesday threatens to lock the hand in a drawer if he is not faithful to her. Terrified Thing promises to be dependable. She is required to attend therapy sessions as punishment for the piranha joke on Wednesday. In order to get to her treatment appointment in Jericho, a small town outside of Nevermore, Principal Larissa takes her there. When she meets with her therapist, she remains silent. Wednesday, however, has something else in mind. She excuses herself and leaves through the window after using the restroom. When she exits, she unintentionally bumps into a man. Suddenly, she has a vision in which she sees the man being killed. Wednesday visits a local coffee shop in fear. She runs into Tyler, the barista-turned-son of the sheriff there. The mechanical issues with Tyler's espresso machine are present. Thankfully, Wednesday can read Italian despite the strange Italian language of the directions. She fixes the device without difficulty and then requests a ride to the closest bus stop. Before Tyler can respond, however, 3 bullies dressed as pilgrims appear at the store, and Taunter Wednesday makes an attempt to ignore them. However, when she's had enough, she fights back and quickly knocks them down. Principal Larissa eventually makes her way to the business with the sheriff, where she is horrified to see the destruction. Prior to taking Wednesday out of the town, CB raids her. They pass a catastrophic vehicle accident on their way back to the academy. The victim is the same man Wednesday had earlier seen in a vision. Later that evening, she performs a melancholy cello melody on the balcony of the dorm. There are numerous werewolves howling in the distance, and the moon is full. Enid, a werewolf herself, announces that she will not be joining them because she is unable to change. Thing stops by Tyler's room in the meantime and requests a call for Wednesday. Despite being afraid, he agrees. The two begin their video discussion. Wednesday says it will be great, and she wants Tyler to meet her at the harvest fair the next day. She really just wants to get out of the academy, though. We witness Larissa keeping a close eye on Wednesday while at the fair. Despite this, the young goth somehow catches up to Tyler. The two are on the verge of leaving when Wednesday accidentally bumps into Rowan, one of her classmates. As soon as Wednesday touched him, he instantly escapes into the woods, and she experiences a vision. Someone has killed Rowan by viciously mauling him. After being made clear, she changes her mind and chases him down to tell him the truth. Before she can respond, though, Rowan secures her high in a tree using telekinesis. Then he says that 25 years ago, his mother, a strong seer, saw Wednesday destroying the Nevermore Academy. Rowan thinks that in order to prevent anything awful from happening, he must kill her. He then begins telekinetically choking her. At least by her telekinetic meal first, geez. But out of nowhere, a huge, weeping beast lunges in and disappears into thin air. Wednesday looks at the drawing of his mother that she allegedly created while standing over his dismembered remains. Soon after, on the sheriff's direction, police officers start searching for Rowan's body but are unsuccessful. As was to be expected, the sheriff doubts Wednesday's claim that a monster attacked Rowan and believes it was a former student. Instead, a police officer interrupts their talk, allowing us to startlingly glimpse Rowan, who is still very much alive. Wednesday discovers her roommate Enid when she gets there. She tries to talk to Rowan later, but Principal Larissa tells her that she has been expelled for a reason that she cannot disclose since she is too involved with the Polo Cup tournament, an annual boat riding game. As a result, Wednesday switches to Plan B and requests that Thing watch over Rowan. The action then shifts to Rowan as she enters the railway station with Thing right behind her. He sneaks into the bathroom after surveying the area and assumes an elderly person's appearance. Sadly, Thing gets distracted and misses this metamorphosis. Later, he takes on the identity of Principal Larissa. She is actually a shapeshifter, and for whatever reason, she is hiding Rowan's murder, as this information indicates. Without any other choices, Wednesday searches the woods for signs of Rowan's murder. She is with Tyler, who is pursuing his father. She eventually locates Ryan's glasses, and as she lifts them up, she is struck with a vision. She observes a purple book where Rowan obtained the drawing in the vision. Without wasting any time, Wednesday asks her teacher about the book, and the latter responds by saying that it belonged to the Nightshades, an ex-student organization. The society, however, was long ago dissolved. Wednesday sneaks into Rowan's room after school to look for the book. Before she can depart, Xavier shows up when she discovers a mask under his bed. He is, in fact, Rowan's roommate. As soon as Bianca arrives to visit her ex, Wednesday instantly hides under the bed. She hears them talking, and finds out that Bianca intends to humiliate Enid in the upcoming boat riding competition. So, as soon as she gets back to her room, Wednesday makes the decision to assist by competing in order to bring Bianca down. Wednesday was the next day, and it was time to get ready for the contest. Since there are no regulations, everything is fair game, and Bianca is taking advantage of this. There are 4 teams, and the object of the game is for them to row their boats both forward and backward. The winner is the first person to cross the finish line unscathed and without falling into the lake. Bianca makes a clue about one of her buddies who is prepared to sabotage the other boats as the competition gets underway. The crew is eliminated when the friend who turns out to be a mermaid dives into the lake and sinks one of the boats. Fortunately, Wednesday and Enid were ready, and with the aid of their tools, they were able to capture the mermaid. Wednesday, though, has a different vision during the competition. This time, she sees a version of herself with blonde hair who informs her that she is the key. Wednesday awakens confused to discover that Bianca's team is in the lead. She and Enid opt to play dirty since they are unwilling to give up. They utilize Bianca's shady tactics against her and eventually triumph in the contest. This marks the first time in 40 years that a non-siren team has triumphed in the prestigious competition. Principal Larissa later recognizes the victorious team and presents Enid with the pop-up trophy. But Wednesday can't take the attention and seeks comfort from Edgar Allan Poe, a former pupil of the Nevermore Academy. Under the stone book he's clutching, she suddenly notices a symbol. The carving on the picture Rowan gave her before he was killed by a mall has the same sign. Wednesday finds a hint that is snapping twice after quickly solving a series of puzzles carved in the book. She abruptly snaps twice, revealing a hidden chamber and a hidden passageway. This gateway wouldn't be a secret if this academy had a beat poetry club. There, Wednesday is able to locate Rowan's book where he tore the image. Before she can continue, someone shoves a black bag over her head as she attempts to put the book in her backpack. She finds herself surrounded by Bianca, Xavier, and a few additional students who are Nightshades Club members shortly after the bag is removed. Despite the fact that the group had previously been disbanded, Principal Arissa had secretly decided to restart it. Xavier begs Wednesday to join the group, but she politely declines and leaves. The yearly outreach day, where the Nevermore students will have to interact with regular people, also known as normies, by working alongside them at their establishments after they come in town, is announced by Principal Arissa in the following scene. Wednesday alerts Xavier to the possibility that his dorm friend was killed. Considering that Rowan was simply ejected, the latter does not believe he is dead. Wednesday still shows him the picture in spite of this. Drew Xavier, Rowan's mother, examines it carefully and discovers that the man in the image is actually Joseph Crackstone, the man who founded Jericho. Later, Wednesday makes the decision to volunteer in the Pilgrim World, the location where Jericho's past is kept. Eugene, a little child she had gotten to know in the beekeeping club, is there when she meets him. The two start conversing and taking in their surroundings right away. The overseer of the Pilgrim World, Miss Arlene, soon approaches the students. While giving them a tour, she discusses some Joseph Crackstone works. Beloved Antiques Wednesday learns more about the antiques and discovers that they include the family chamber pot as well as original farm implements and dinnerware. She would like to work there, but she is unable to due to renovations. Instead, they will all be employed at the Yield Fudgery to serve cakes and fudge to the area's tourists. Wednesday later discovers a painting of the old meeting house that features the girl from her vision after helping Eugene break into the Crackstone family chamber. She soon discovers the book the girl was holding as well. The blank pages, though, lead Wednesday to believe it is a fake when she notices them. Arlene, the nanny, shows in at that same moment and catches her. Arlene reluctantly admits that the original book was stolen last month in response to Wednesday's inquiry about it. Tyler and Wednesday met up again at the coffee shop later. Tyler responds to the second person's question regarding Joseph Crackstone by saying that what is left of the old meeting house is hidden away in the woods. It is essentially a ruin, and methods utilized it as a temporary residence. Wednesday and Thing immediately went into the woods in search of Joseph Blackstone's residence. Once they do, they discover a man who is homeless. However, the object chokes him and drives him away. Wednesday has an unexpected vision. This time, she goes back in time 400 years. We recognize the blonde girl she spoke with in the previous vision. The girl is being surrounded by locals who are calling her the devil's offspring. She is soon addressed as Goody Addams by Joseph Crackstone, who emerges from the crowd. She is suspected of being a witch, and he sentences her to death in a barn full of other people who have been accused, including her mother. In response, Goody accuses them of robbing them of their peaceful attitude, seizing their property, and killing the defenseless. After giving her a long look of anger, Joseph ignites the barn. She makes numerous attempts to set her mother free, but to no avail. Finally, when there is no more hope, she uses a trapdoor to flee. Wednesday joins them in the barn as they watch this all go on. Soon after, Goodies approaches her and declares that Joseph won't end his mission until he has slain every single one of them. After a protracted vision, Wednesday finally awakens with this realization and tells everything. I believe we have identified a person who you can choke on with impunity. They suddenly realize that the beast that killed Rowan is following them. While chasing it in the rain, Wednesday is unable to keep up. She then proceeds to follow the tracks, which oddly begin to change into individuals. Right, so this proves the monster is indeed a person? She approaches Xavier afterwards and tells him what she observed. The tracks had already been washed away by the rain when he wants to examine them. Everyone gathers once more the next day in the town square to celebrate the unveiling of a new statue honoring Joseph Crackstone. While the mayor and Larissa announce the statue, Wednesday plays an instrumental rendition of Fleetwood Mac's Don't Stop with the Jericho Marching Band. But when Thing ignites the statue with Wednesday's instructions, calamity strikes. Wednesday's eyes shine with fury as she plays the cello quickly, while others flee in terror. Later, Principal Larissa lashes out at Wednesday, thinking that she was to blame for what happened. The teen challenges Larissa for failing to recognize the gruesomely racist truth upon which Jericho was built, refusing to take any action. That evening, when the monster is attacking the homeless man from earlier, his camera starts recording the event. The homeless man was discovered dead when the sheriff and his team reached the forest ruin. They find video on his camera that might identify the offender. The sheriff views the killer's face, a monster born of nightmares, after developing the images.